Alright guys, I know you guys have been waiting for this one, so I took my time with it. I really wanted to learn this character before I made a guide. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about Wrastor. So I'm at the character select screen because I think it's really important for you to have certain controls for this character, unlike a lot of other ones. You need a button set to strong for two reasons. One is Wrastor specific tech that he can do on the ground, and only Wrastor can do it. And the other one is obvious because he can do smash attacks in the air, or he only has smash attacks in the air. So you need a button set to strong, and I like having my right stick set to attack because in the air, I want to keep my drift or my aerial drift when I do my aerial attacks. So those are the two things I recommend. Anything else, you guys can decide. Let's get into it. Alright, first I'm going to go over the movement tech that I learned with Wrastor. I actually learned this from Mr. R. He was going over it in a stream today. But Wrastor is the only character where on the ground, he can press a tilt button at any time. And you can only do this if you have a button set to strong. So I'm running around, do my initial dash, and I'm pressing A here, but I'm not getting dash attack. I'm using the strong button and getting any tilt I want. This is really important to Wrastor's gameplay. Later on, I'll show you how good this is in his combo game because of how it applies with another move. But for right now, I just wanted to get that out of the way. First off, let's go into his movement speed on the ground. He's a pretty quick character, middle of the pack when he's just using his normal ground speed. Has a lot of aerial drift. And another thing specific to him is that he has 1, 2, 3 jumps. Each time you press the jump button, you're not going to go as high, but it's good to have that for mix-up, just so when you're falling or getting back to the stage, you're going to be able to weave in and out of a lot of people's moves because you have access to so many jumps. Alongside that, you got his air dodge and other recovery options like his up B. First, let me go over his jab. So his jab is a 3-hit move, and unlike other characters where his jab sends people horizontally, his jab sends people upwards. So at around like 5 to 10%, people aren't going to be able to crouch and like stay on the ground when you hit them with a jab. It's going to be popping them up, and it's really easy to follow up on this move, especially at the later percents. So around 50%, if you get a jab off, you're going to be able to follow up with any aerial you want. And sometimes even your smash aerials. So running up and jabbing or just having this as an option is not a bad idea. If you're going to be canceling your jab into any of your tilts, you're most likely going to go for the down tilt after because it pops them up in the air and you can follow up with an aerial after that. But if you don't want to do that, you can do F tilt and you can also get combos off of that. So those are the main two things you're going to be canceling your jab into. Starting off with his tilts, his F tilt is a multi-hit forward tilt. It has a decent reach. His feathers go a little farther out than like his jab does. You do get some follow-ups off of it. You can follow with like a single aerial after that, but it's gonna be really laggy. So if you hit someone's shield with this move, they have a lot of time to punish you. So you want to be careful about how you throw out this move. Maybe just after a jab, or if you really think someone's gonna land in a spot, go for it. I wouldn't really use this move to space out, just because of how laggy it is, and people can hit you pretty hard after that. Alright, we're gonna do a stage change for this because the platforms just move really weird. So yeah, talking about his up tilt, it has a really strong hitbox at the top of it, which is the initial hit, and then on the way down it can spike. So if someone's recovering and they're jumping onto the stage too much and you know they're gonna do that, you just walk up here, boom, up tilt, and they get spiked downwards. The more common use is right below a platform if they're gonna attack in a certain spot, or you just want to put some damage on them. This is a really good kill move. So around, it's gonna kill at the later percents, but the angle that it sends out, and depending on their DI, if they DI this poorly and they're not ready for it, they're gonna die. If you catch people off guard, you can do the jabs into the up tilt, but it's a little bit hard to hit with that. There's the weak hitbox at the front of it if you hit it straight on. So it's not too good on the stage just by itself. But when people are above you or if they're recovering back to the stage, that's when you're gonna want to be using it the most. Moving on to Wrastor's down tilt, it's gonna be the one that you're using the most. It's just a little sweep forward. The inwards hitbox of it barely pops them a little bit forward, but the outwards hitbox will pop them a little bit higher up, so it's easier to follow up off. Raptor looks like he's too slow to be following up off of that move, but this is where I want to introduce his side B. So his side stream is this airstream, right? And he gets faster movement speed when he's on the ground and when he's in the air. So what that means for Wrastor is that every time you hit someone, because you have more speed, it's going to be a lot easier to follow up for your combos. So doing this without his airstream looks really hard to do, but if you have this out, depending on their DI, it's going to be a lot easier to hit confirm that. And then once again, when I'm doing his down tilt, I'm pressing down and strong. Because he doesn't have any strong moves on the ground, this works for him. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to hit your down tilt or any tilt attack. So the last ground move I want to talk about with Wrastor is actually his dash tap. It has a small hitbox on it, and it's really only hits them in that area. It doesn't really hit above it. But the good thing about this move is just the angle that it sends people at. So let's say I'm right here and I hit a dash attack, right? It pops them up in the air just long enough where I have I'm plus after, basically. What I mean by plus is that I can move first before Zetterburn does. So I have the option after dash attack to go for an aerial, or I can just sit here and grab. Sorry, I just recently changed my grab button, so I'm gonna be messing that up a lot. So yeah, I can just sit here and grab and just wait for him to do something after. On top of that, it pops them up enough sometimes where it gets them onto a platform so you can tech chase after that. So two little quirks about his dash attack. It can be cancelled if you fall off the stage with it. The lag gets cancelled. So if I hit someone right here, it's really easy to combo after that because I don't have any lag. He's just in the air. And another thing about dash attack is that you can fast fall it if you're falling off as well. So you can surprise people by just falling with your dash attack. Now I teased it a little bit when I was talking about his down tilt, but now we're gonna go into his B moves. His neutral B, if you hold it down, you go rising into the air. It's okay as a recovery mix up. When someone's really high up in the air, it looks like you're gonna be able to kill them, but its knockback is not a lot. And it's a really laggy move that puts you into free fall, so it's really rough to use. You can move left and right while you use it, but you're not going to be using this move too often unless it's like as a recovery mix-up. So after his neutral B, I'll go into his down B. His down B is a grab. It's not a command grab because if this person shields, I'm not going to go through it. But this move is a really good combo tool at the beginning, at early percents. And at later percents, you can combo it into an up strong. It's a slow move. It's going to be hard to just throw out, or you can just throw it out in neutral sometimes and it'll land, but it is a pretty hard move to land. If you do it in the air, it does a diagonal. It does it diagonally. It does the same thing. It can be edge canceled like you just saw there, but it's also just a grab that you can follow up off of. I just want to show off its main use at later percents. You're going to be comboing it a lot into up smash. I don't think they can get out of this, so it's just all up to you to follow their DI. Of course, once again, having his airstream out is going to make this combo a lot easier because you get up there quicker. Like I said, more movement speed means combos are easier to do. And the main way that I'm using this move is just like if we're feeling each other out in neutral at later percents, at a percent that I know it can combo, you just throw it out sometimes and it'll hit. I'll go into like a little bit more advanced combos with it later on when I'm talking about how to kill with Wrastor, but for now that's all you need to know. Going into Wrastor's up B, it's a swing upwards, and if you are right next to your opponent and you hit this move, you can get the strong hitbox of it and get some pretty early kills. It's kind of hard to space your recovery with this move because he doesn't really snap to the ledge, so you have to do this pretty perfectly because a lot of the time you're just going to do this and try to land on stage and it's not too great. In order to hit this hitbox of it,
The easiest way to do that is just off of a tech chase probably. There are some combos into it I can show off later. But yeah, just hitting a tech chase with it is going to be the main time you're going to be hitting this. One thing you got to be careful about is if you're hitting a tech chase near here and you hold right, you're going to fall off the stage. But if I up B and then flick the other direction, or just tap the other direction, the sweet spot's still going to be in front of me, but I'll move the other way. Let me see if I can, yeah, there we go, right there. So going into side B again, you hit this move on their shield or the opponent and you get the airstream and the movement speed. One thing I do want to show off is if you miss this move, you have a line here that doesn't do anything and then it goes away after a few seconds. So you're not going to be able to throw out another one until this line goes away. So that's something to be careful about. So if you do use this move, you want to make sure your opponent's in this area. Where I like to put this is just on the stage itself because that's where you are most of the time. You can use this move in the air and hit people with it, but if you do get a hit on it, your airstream's not going to be in a good spot because you're not really going to be able to use it. But that doesn't mean that the projectile itself is useless. As you see there, Zetterburn pops himself up a little bit when I hit him with it. So if you throw that projectile out, you can run up, you can grab, because they're gonna be popped up. Or if you think they're gonna air dodge, you can do something like a down air or another aerial to cover whatever space you think they're gonna be at. The main way that I like to use this is just to throw it off stage when someone's recovering, so that they do flinch in the air and I can throw out an aerial after that. And then one last way to use your side B is to just use it from ledge, because a lot of people like to apply pressure, especially around here, because these moves are a little slow, a little bit hard to hit. But if you just throw out your side B really quickly, it'll make them stop moving around, flinch real quick, and then it'll get you back to stage really safely. Moving on to his aerials, he has two types of aerial moves, which is his regular aerial moves, and then he has his smash attacks in the air. So I'm using the strong button to get these. You can also just turn on smash stick and do it that way. But I like having a strong button more than having smash stick enabled, because sometimes you'll be running forward and trying to do a quick aerial, and instead of like forward air, back air, you'll get the smash attack of it, and you don't want to be doing that. So I'm going to be talking about his regular aerials first, which are his tilt aerials. First, let's go into forward air. It's a really far-reaching move, and it's one that you're going to be throwing out all his aerials a lot. I like to retreat with it, because if you space this incorrectly and fair into someone's shield, you're going to be getting punished every single time. So when you do use forward air, make sure you're doing it at like this range where you're barely hitting them and you're out of their grab range. So you do have to be careful about using fair into your opponent, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing to do, because after you hit a forward air, there are a lot of combos you can get after that, especially into all his smashes. So at later percents with forward air, you can get forward air into up air. You can get forward air into forward smash. Or you can get forward air into another aerial. And that's the main way you're going to be using forward air. It's a good move, it has a lot of reach. Like I said, you just got to be careful of doing aerials into opponents, because you are going to be getting punished if you are too close to them. So try to space it just outside their range, or retreat with it, which just means jump back and then press forward air. The way I'm able to do this is because I'm using my right stick to do all my aerials, so I'm able to drift however I want with this. So after forward air, let's talk about his nair. It's a double hitbox, or a double kick, so you get those two hitboxes. If you land the first hitbox and you're just rising or staying still, you're not really going to ever connect with the second one, so you really got to be moving into your opponent or right below them to get both hits of it. The main use for this tool, you can't throw it out in neutral, because if you think about it, all your aerials are single hits, right? So if you throw out a double hit move and someone's shielding, they're used to you only hitting their shield with one move, so they'll let go of shield for the second move and you'll get that second hit on them. So the main way that I use nair is after a string of aerials where I'm sending them off stage. So I'll do a fair into another fair and try to end your combo with nair. If you look at how fair hits, it kind of just pops them up and forward, more up than anything else, especially if they're DIing a certain way off stage. But Nair, it sends them outward, so if you want to get a kill at earlier percents and you have them pretty far out, you don't want to forward air, you want to end your combos with a Nair. So his back air, if they DI into it, they just get popped up straight upwards. And you can use that to combo into a lot of his aerial smashes. You can also use back air in the middle of your combos just as an extender. And those are the main two ways you're going to be using it. It's never really going to kill unless their DI is really bad and they're really close to the edge. So when you're using back air, keep that in mind. So last and most importantly, we're going to be going over his down air. So his down air is a sweep below him. If you hit people in front of you, it's going to pop them up and send them behind you. And then if you hit them with the later part of this move, so this is the hitbox that sends them downwards. So this is a move you're going to be throwing out a lot. The initial hit of this is what you're going to be using the most, because one, it'll combo with into the air or set them up into a tech chase. So down air is going to be your most important tool in neutral, and you're mostly just going to be using this initial hit. If they DI that way, they're going to get a tech chase situation, and if they DI up, you're going to be able to follow that up with an aerial. So even at early percents with down air, you're going to be able to get a lot of follow-ups with it. It's because of the angle that it sends people at. You can chain these together, or if you don't want to continue this, you can reset the situation and just go for your grab after they tech. At early percents, not going to be able to tech it. They're just going to have to deal with getting hit by that, and then you following up after. So carrying your momentum, especially with down air, is really, really important. So down air can even be used in the middle of combos to extend what you want to do. So like getting that inwards DI on the down air gets you so much. And lastly, if you just edge guarded someone or someone's trying to jump back onto the stage, something I like to do with down air is just use it at the ledge and then follow it up with a down smash, because you get an easy spike off that. So let's talk about his up air now. It's just a sweep above him. You're mainly going to be using this in the middle of combos to follow up with it to another aerial, or just to keep people above you and juggle them and not let them land. I like to use it below platforms as well, because people always try to land on these, so you can apply some pressure. So it can be used at later percents as a combo tool. If you do a falling up air, you can get either an up strong or you can get a forward strong after that, depending on their DI, just like that. And that's like the main way you're going to be using this. You can use it as a combo extender in the middle of your combos. So you get a forward air and then you follow with a falling up air, and then after that you get your smash tech after that. So those are the main two uses of it. Alright, and lastly we'll talk about his smash techs. So all of his smash techs can only be done in the air. I'm pressing strong here and I'm getting F tilt on the ground, but if I'm in the air and I press strong, I'll get my forward smash. If you see that blue spark when Wrastor uses it, that's going to be the sweet spot of it. So there are two hitboxes. If you have the inwards hitbox, it's going to send them pretty far, but it's not going to kill. But if you hit them with that right in that blue area, it's pretty hard to space out, but it does get the kill a lot earlier. The same thing can be applied to his up smash. You see the blue star? That's going to be the sweet spot of it, and that's where you're going to be able to get earlier kills. I like to use all of Wrastor's aerials to finish off a combo. Like I was showing off earlier, the way you're going to be getting your kills with Wrastor is hitting that sweet spot. Wrastor's really hard to get a kill with and can have a kill problem, but the trade-off is that if you get the sweet spot of your moves, you're going to be killing people very, very early. So the most unique of his smash attack is going to be his down air. The longer you hold this move, the farther it's going to go downwards, so you can kill yourself with it. You got to be careful. But it is a spike all the way through, so if the way that I like to use it is just right next to the ledge. If they're trying to recover low, you just throw this down and they get hit. People are going to be teching it. And what I mean by teching is that they're holding against this wall and then pressing shield. So it's not going to kill every single time, but if they are a little far out there, they're not going to be able to tech into the wall. So doing this isn't even bad, because you combine it with his jumps and all his other ways to get back to the stage, and
it just helps. It's really good. But one last thing about his down air, you can use it on stage as well, and it pops your opponent straight up. At higher percent, it's going to be really easy to follow up with an up smash because of the way they get sent. With the DI away, you can also follow up with a any aerial or just a forward strong. So one last thing about his down air, you can use it on stage as well, and it pops your opponent straight up. At higher percent, it's going to be really easy to follow up with an up smash because of the way they get sent. With the DI away, you can also follow up with a any aerial or just a forward strong. Alright, and lastly, let's talk about his throws. His forward throw is going to be the easiest to explain because all you're going to use it for is just throwing people off stage or getting stage positioning. You're not going to be, that's the throw you're going to be using the least. So one throw you're going to be using a lot is going to be his up throw. If they DI all the way away, it's going to be pretty hard to get a follow-up without your airstream out, but you are going to be able to get follow-ups on their DI in, and you can get combos off that. So the main way you're actually going to be using up throw is going to be at later percents, because if they DI in, you can get an up strong after, and this is an easy way for you to be securing your kills. It's a little bit hard to time, but the way I look at it is after Wrastor completes his twirl, you're going to be able to input your jump. And that's going to kill at like a little bit later percent, maybe like 5% later, that's done. So another throw you're going to be using is Wrastor's back throw. It doesn't look like it sends them very far, but it's actually a really important move in his kit. If the opponent DIs into your move, they're going to get hit by an F strong. If this platform wasn't there, it'd be a little bit easier to show. But it's a good 50-50 if you combine it with this up throw, because if I grab someone right and they hold left, they're holding into my back throw and I'm going to be able to get that F strong. But if they hold to the right, they're going to get hit by my up throw to up smash. So getting grabs at later percents is key to getting kills with Wrastor. Alright, and now let's go into the throw you're going to be using the most, which is his down throw. As you saw there, it forces your opponent to tech. So if they neutral tech or they miss their tech, you get a free move after that. You can go into any aerial, you can go into your down strong, which is going to be the one that ideally you're hitting. But based on your opponent's height of their character, so Loxodon is a lot bigger than Zedimern, for example. Sometimes doing a down air after won't hit if they don't tech, so you got to be wary of that. But I like to follow up first with a down air because you do get a lot of follow-ups after that. And also, if you use down air and they don't tech in place or they don't miss their tech, you're able to follow people's tech. So if they tech away or if they tech in, you can be prepared for your next move if you just use down air. And then one last thing about back throw, it says its usage at the edge of the stage. So it actually throws them straight downwards, and at higher percents they're going to get sent a lot farther down. They can hold into the stage and just hit the wall. They won't always get sent flying all the way down. But if you back throw into down air, you can hit some easy kills sometimes. So lastly, I want to go into his special pummel. So his special pummel happens when you press B after a grab and sends a tornado that sends people upward. The main throw that you're going to want to be using is down throw because it sets them up into that tech situation. And from there, you kind of have to have a read on your opponent based on what they were doing before when you were just down throwing them and teching. So if you have a read on what tech they're going to do, you can charge a smash attack and just get a free smash after. Like that. Let's go over how to kill with Wrastor, because that's going to be the hardest part of his kit. At early percents, you're able to string together whatever he wants and he feels really smooth. But at later percents, you're going to get these single hits a lot and they're going to be sent far off stage, but they're never going to die. So you have to be careful about what you're ending your combos with. You're going to want to be ending your combos with your aerial smash attacks or moves that set up into those smash attacks, because if not, it's going to take you a long time to get the kill. So for those situations where people are at really high percents and you are struggling to get the kill, let me show you a couple ways to avoid that. So you have your grab, right? I showed the 50-50 earlier. If they DI into your back throw, you get an F strong after. And if they DI away, you can get the up strong.
On top of that, this command grab can be a saving grace because, not command grab, I'm sorry, it just looks like one. This grab right here can be your saving grace because of how easy it is to combo after. And another thing too, like I did right there, even if you do land your smash attacks, you'll a lot of the time it'll be the weak hit of it. So spacing with this character is also really important. But if you do get to these really high percents where you have no combos to hit people with, one move that I like to use is going to be his neutral air, because it does stuff like that where it just sends people super far and it'll get the kill for you. But the most important thing is not to panic and not to overextend. Your moves are still going to kill at some point. Maybe it's 200%, but you always are going to have your airspeed and all of these amazing tools that are in Wrastor's kit. And I can talk about his special getup a little bit. It's just this wind tornado. You have to hold B the entire time or else you're not going to get the full move. If I just tap B, it does a little quick one. I don't like this move at all because it only pops them upward a little bit. It's okay sometimes to surprise people with it, but I find myself, my opponents falling out of it a lot. And then the last thing about him is his ledge getup, his special getup. You're gonna want to use this move not when your opponent's on the stage and like ledge trapping you, but when they're recovering and they're trying to get back here into this area. You throw out this move and it's really powerful. It gets the kill sometimes. It should here, depending on their DI, of course. So lastly, I want to go over general neutral tips with Wrastor. So the first thing I want to emphasize is how important it is to have your airstream out. This movement speed isn't just for your combos. It's for weaving in and out of your opponent's range and baiting them to do moves so that you can punish them after that. So it's really important to always have your airstream out and make sure you're able to do that. I didn't show it off earlier, but having your airstream out and then doing your run tilts, once again, I'm pressing down and strong, is going to be really important as well. Because of how quick you can do this, you can be dashing around, boom, they're getting hit by a down tilt, and then after they get hit by that, you're getting your combos. So at earlier percents with Wrastor, I'm using a lot of fair just to box people out, feel them out, see what they're doing. On top of that, I'm using jab because it's a quick move and it pops people upwards and I can get combos after that. Another thing that I like to do is just using throwing out down airs. Down air is your main combo starter and combo extender, like I mentioned before. And getting hits with this move at early percent is really important because it sets up into everything else. It sets up into dash attack, and that dash attack will set you up into more combos. It sets you up into another aerial, and then you get more combos after that. So getting good at using this move is going to be really important for Wrastor's initial neutral. On top of that, landing your down throw. Your down throw and getting used to people's tech habits is going to be one thing you want to emphasize, because at later percents, when you do get the special pummel on them, you want to know where you're going to have to throw out your smash attack. And then at mid percents, what you're going to be trying to do is just find a combo starter and start juggling people. Striking with up air is always good. You're going to get your back air into stuff. And once they get around the 90%, you're going to be able to start throwing out your smash attacks at the end of those combos and not just go for the damage. So that's going to be it for the Wrastor guide. Like I said, sorry this took a little bit to come out. He's a hard character to learn, and I'm barely getting things down with him, but he is really fun and probably feels the most rewarding out of anyone else I've played. So yeah, my next guide is going to take a little bit longer to come out because I'm going on vacation, but if you have a recommendation on who you want to see, just leave it down in the comments. And as always, if you have any suggestions or things I could have done better with this character, or just in general what you want to see from me in the channel, just let me know. Alright, thanks.